Welcome to Born for this Race, home service podcast, and I'm your host, Mandy Bala. Today, we have a special guest here, Deidre Foxx. Deidre Foxx is a skilled internet marketing and recruiting strategist specializing in the home service industry. With a background in behavioral science, she excels in identifying potential in candidates and crafting effective marketing strategies. As COO of Rapid Hire Pro, Deidre has helped over 300 companies customize successful recruitment and marketing processes. She has she also shares insights on understanding company avatars and mastering marketing formulas, leveraging her experience as an educator and counselor. Welcome to our show, Deidre.
Thank you, Mandy. Very excited to be here and hanging out with you today.
Join us as we dive deep into the world of home service entrepreneurship, interacting with industry leaders, coaches, and entrepreneurs about their experiences, challenges, and victories. Through their inspiring stories, we hope to equip our listeners with the tools and knowledge they need to succeed in the competitive home service industry. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, tune in to Born for the Trades podcast for invaluable insight and real-world inspiration.
Awesome. I hope everything is going fine.
Yeah, things are really great. I don't have a complaint. Life is grand.
Awesome. I know you have been traveling a lot, and I see you were in Houston, a lot of like industry events that you're part of. And I think we met at like, seven-figure agency event. So it's been a lot for you, right?
Yeah. So kind of started out, so work with Jody Underhill, that's my business partner, Jody and Vanessa. And he was the one kind of heading up all the events. And this year we decided to throw my hat in the ring with helping out with those. So this year's been a lot of travel so far. I think I'm on the road more than I'm at home, but I'm loving every minute of it. I know that this year is going to really just bring a lot of great success. So
yeah, that's amazing. Happy for you. And let's get started with your story, because a lot of people, those who are listening to this podcast, they want to know more about you. So Deidre, what's your story and motivation for focusing on the home service industry? Let's start with that.
Okay. So my background is actually in education. I started out just working with children, love working with kids. I have a background in ministry as well. So I did both ministry and education. That's where that behavioral science stuff comes into play. Did some counseling,
Right.
just, working with people, loved it. And in 2018, I was diagnosed with lupus.
Wow.
And it was a moment, where I had to just make a decision in life. And my doctors were encouraging me to kind of walk away from the cute little kids that I loved very much. And it was very hard at first, but I met Jody and Vanessa and started working with them and fell in love with something brand new, and felt like I could take something that, from my past and bring to the table. So it's been quite a journey. But I absolutely love what I do with them. I would say that when we first started out, we did a lot of different marketing things. COVID hit like for everybody. So I actually left the school system the winter before COVID hit, which was fantastic for me.
That's great.
Because anybody in education will tell you, you did not want to be at the school during COVID.
Right.
And then I started working with Jody and Vanessa, and we had a couple different companies that we started, and it was just so hard to kind of get something going. So we found something that was just foolproof. Like it's COVID proof. And we worked in the trucking industry at first.
Trucking.
And it was, truck drivers.
Wow.
So helping find truck drivers for the trucking industry. And it was interesting. But then, so Tommy Mello, with A1 Garage Door Service, has been friends with Jody and Vanessa for well over a decade. They actually knew him before, when he only had like 3 trucks out in Arizona. And so they were on the phone one day, and they were just kind of telling about what we did, and, hey, this might work for you. And next thing you know, they were flown out, showed them the plan, and the rest is history. We started working with him, and I mean, it was super successful. And then we were like, let's change industries. And we started working with the guys in the trades. And I'm going to be honest, moving into the trades, I found my home. Like, so found my home. So having a background working with kids, like you feel you have a purpose. You feel like, hey, I'm helping the next generation of the world.
Right.
I find that my purpose now, though, is, I mean, let's be honest and real.
Yeah.
The bulk of the trades is men. You know, it's mostly a man-driven industry. And I get
Right.
to work with the dads and the husbands of America. And that to me is super rewarding. It's amazing to watch really good guys find really good companies of people who actually care about them
Yeah.
and about their family and about their personal growth.
Yeah.
And just getting to marry those people together, that hands down just excites me.
That's amazing. What a great story. Like, coming from that educational background and, connecting with like amazing people like Jody and Vanessa and working in this home service industry. And you are applying those, like, your behavioral science. And I think, yeah, you're doing like, great in this industry, like, helping contractors with the best practices. I know we will deep dive into like, what you do. But great story. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thanks.
And so Deidre, like what drives your unique approach to recruiting and marketing?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of recruitment agencies out there, but
Yeah.
none of them quite have the background that we do in marketing. So it's a different approach. We're not headhunters. We're not just a platform for like job sites.
Yeah.
It's marketing. So we're actually, and I've kind of coined a term, we're doing draw marketing campaigns. So we're using the actual company and their culture and their vibe and just who they are to draw in the correct talent. And by marketing for the right people to come to you, it makes everything a lot less stressful. So
Right.
it's about understanding who you are as a company so that we can position it. So just like you would market for a customer, we're doing the same approach, but for a candidate.
Yeah, I think that has to be deployed, like, specific, like, target audience. And I think I want to deep dive into that, like, what specific parameters or like, how do you define, like, like your target audience to get the right candidates? Like maybe you
Yeah.
want to share like some insights on that. Like, what
Yeah.
do you guys do? Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of times people will come to us and their avatar for their employee that they're looking for that position is based off of a list of job descriptions or responsibilities. And that's where you're missing the mark. What you end up getting is someone who checks boxes, but they don't stay with you long term. The
Right.
right approach is to know who you are. So if you understand your company culture and you can clearly define it, and then you can define your core values, you can see where your vision is, where you're going. That's how you build an avatar. So understanding, like, I know for us, we have, our 4 core values. And normally if I share my first core value, like in a job interview, and that person flinches or acts kind of off put, then I know they're not the right fit for our company, even if they check all the boxes. Like, you need
Right.
to be the same mindset as us, because that's how you keep those people lasting longer. And
Right.
when you're creating your ad, so behavioral science teaches us that there are 2 sides of your brain. There's a quick response side, and then there's the processing side. So that quick response side is 2 + 2 is 4. Like, you automatically just know the answer. The
Right.
other one is you have to figure it out. So like 22 + 17, and you have to like think for a second. Well, when you're creating your ad copy, you want to have that 2 + 2 is 4. You want that yes. So
Okay.
you always want that information of like, this is who we are, and this is what we're looking for. We have this personality. We are looking for this type of person. This is what you're going to expect in our culture here. So that when someone's reading it, it's like, yes, I want to be a part of that. Yes, I can get in with that vision. Yes, I want to give that kind of performance to my customers. That in itself is the game changer. That's where a lot of people, I think, miss the mark, is that they're like, hey, let's check all these boxes. Do you have 5 years experience? You
Hmm.
can communicate effectively. Like, none of that matters if their personality doesn't align with your company.
Right, right. And I think, yeah, that's what a great share. And I think most of the time, I think companies, forget to mention their core values, vision, which is like, missing, not aligned. And I think candidates, they just like, they don't look at that. But I think that plays a big role. And your behavioral science comes into, I think it plays a big role that you have been doing, right?
What's really crazy is, like, I don't even think a lot of companies, sometimes I'll have these meetings and we'll ask, what are your core values? What's your company culture? Like, if you were to liken it to a movie, would you be a like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or like,
Hmm.
Rocky? Like, what's your vibe?
Yeah.
Most companies can't even answer that. They don't even know, they can't even like rattle off their core values.
Oh,
So,
wow.
I mean, that's the big part there is, understanding who you are
Yeah.
uh, before you ever even tried to attempt to have people join your team. I mean, if you look at it, it's kind of like matchmaking in a sense. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
if you don't know who you are as a person, how are you going to go out and try to date somebody?
Right.
Like, it's the same concept. If you don't know what you want and who your company is, then how do you expect to bring somebody on and have expectations for them?
Right. And I think that's definitely a great example there. It has to match, like, with your vision, core values, and culture. Culture plays a big role, which is I think in hustle bustle, everyone is just going for numbers. And I think
Yeah,
culture, I'm a big I'm huge on culture. Build this amazing work culture with our core values, empathy, positivity, and obviously data backed and relationships. We are all about, and it shows, right? When you
yeah,
really work on your culture, it shows. And people, like, they really want to work for that company, right? So this
right.
plays a big role. And I want to ask you one more thing, like, what's the most crucial thing business owners should understand in their market?
Ooh, in their market, I think
Yes.
you need to understand who and what your audience looks like and your reputation versus your competitors. Like, when you're talking about your market, what is going to set you apart? And a lot of times people are coming at you with, oh, I have health, dental, and vision. If you
Mhm.
don't have health, dental, and vision, then what are you doing with your life? Like, that's a
Mm.
standard. That's like basic practice. So, to be competitive in your market, you need to know what is the thing that the people in your town, what are your ideal avatar, what do they want? Is it work-life balance? Is it, understanding that, OT is not something that you want to, maybe having an OT team.
Right.
Maybe it's something as simple as, some of these guys just want to know that you're going to take care of them, that there's a company vehicle, that there's a gas card, that they have the easy pass, that those aren't things that they're going to have to be responsible for, or, a tool allowance, whatever it might be. But just knowing what those benefits are that kind of set you apart, knowing what your competitor is offering is
Right.
huge. Um, because the thing about it is that, hands down, we find that the pay isn't always the thing that is going to be what pulls you. And everybody thinks that. Everybody thinks, well, if I pay high dollar, I'm going to get somebody. And for the most part, yeah, that's a huge factor. But if you pay a really good pay, but your reputation is horrible, why? Obviously, you're going to have to pay me more, because I have to like work for someone that's a horrible person to work for.
Right.
So setting up a really good reputation is also crucial. Like, having a good name in your community, and that's easy to do. That's going out and being community driven. Going
Right.
out and giving back to your community, being a part of it, doing outreach, being a part of the sports teams,
Mm.
going and being a part and sponsoring some of those, rec centers with the local kids department.
Yeah.
That says a lot about who you are and what your values are. And people are going to want to be a part of that.
Right. This is amazing stuff. I think you mentioned all these like, small things. And I think a lot of companies, they just think about like, just like, dollar amount. That's not the only thing. Like, throwing like, video games or like pool table, like maybe looks fancy, but I think there are other things like, work culture, taking care of like, your employees with like small things that you mentioned.
Yeah,
But I think those are small, but I think it means a lot for the like, employees. So
it does. It really does. Understanding who you are is key, but then being present in your community is really what's going to set you apart, and people knowing your name in a positive light.
yeah, yeah, that's amazing. I know we talked about like, a few things like, off screen, off podcast, and I think let's deep dive into that. Could you please explain like the concept of successfully failing and
Yeah.
its importance
Yeah.
for self-care?
So I'm big on understanding the successful failure.
Hmm.
Um, everybody fails. Like, you're not gonna
Right.
win
Yeah.
everything. Um,
100%.
but it's about mindset, it's about attitude. It's about being able to look at that failure and taking wisdom from it, taking like and people I've had people say, why do you not you never get angry? Like, you never like lose your cool on anybody, like you're pretty even keeled, even temper. I mean, yeah, occasionally like, my blood will boil a little bit here and there, but for the most part, I say pretty even tempered. And the reason why is because like what would be the point? Like,
Hmm.
when a employee comes to me and they're like, I messed up, and
Yeah.
their tail's tucked between their legs, I'm like, untuck your tail. Why did you mess up? Like, what can we do to avoid that going forward? How can we make some adjustments to, make this process better? And what can we learn from it so it
Yeah.
doesn't happen again? So understanding to take a step back when you see failure in your life as an opportunity for growth, an opportunity for understanding. But one of my favorite ways to look at most things in life is that you can't see the light. You don't acknowledge light without understanding what darkness is.
Oh my God, this is amazing. You gotta acknowledge that light, and otherwise, yeah, I think you will be in darkness. Wow.
Yeah. So like, we don't know that things are really great if we don't also know when they're really bad.
Yeah.
So having a respect and understanding for the things that we've been given, um, I think is only comes from knowing the hardships of how we had to get there. And so
Yeah.
that's how you successfully fail. It's, you learn from that failure, you grow from that failure, but then you also recognize it as just a stepping stone to get you to greater.
That's deep. And I want to just go like a little bit deep into it, like to ask your personal failure and how you basically, overcome from that.
Oh, okay.
I know,
Um,
sorry, I'm putting you on the spot here,
no,
but
that's okay.
it will be great to just like, audience
Yeah,
will
I
love that.
know. I know. So for me, I am really bad overachiever. Like, I'm very, very hard on myself. As someone who wants to constantly show up for everyone,
Hmm.
um, I will kick myself if I can't do it. And it's something that I have to continuously learn from. And in the process of that, I have learned that in order for me to show up even remotely for anyone else, I have to first show up for myself.
Right.
And if I don't take care of me, then I can't take care of others. And for a
Yeah.
very long time, I neglected myself. I neglected my self-care. I neglected who I was. I would burn both ends of the stick. I was doing 14-hour days. I would spend my
Wow.
weekends trying to be there for my family. I wasn't sleeping properly. I'd actually gotten up to almost 300 pounds. I've lost almost 70 of that in this last year.
Great
And I'm
job.
still on my weight loss journey and my health journey because I stopped taking care of myself. I was eating fast food in the midst of running back and forth between things.
Hmm.
Not prioritizing my health, not going to the doctor, I let myself down. And in the last year, I've realized that like the only way that I can truly be there for everyone is to first be there for me. And it's not going to matter what all I did
Yeah.
if I'm not there for my kids in the long run, at the end of the day. Like if something happens to mom, what was the point of all of it? So,
Exactly. A lot of people rely on you, your kids, your business, your clients, like, the entire world around you. And definitely it's like, emotionally like, draining, right? It's not easy to come out of those situations. I'm so proud of you that, you have worked hard and you're working hard on, a lot of stuff. And it's not easy. Let's little bit more talk about like self-care, right? I think as a business owners, or like I would say let's talk about like being into business, right? A lot of home service industry owners, they are listening to this podcast, and every day it's just like go 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 go, right?
mhm.
I think there has to be like some time. You cannot be like you cannot go 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 like for 365 days. You got to slow down, you got to pause, you got to shut down maybe for one day, right? So
Yeah.
I want to know your thoughts like on taking care of yourself as a business owner, because we are all about go go go. So what should we do, what business owners should do to actually take a pause and just work on their self-care and mental health?
Yeah. This was something I struggled with in the beginning. Because I felt like if I had one person working, I should be working.
Mm.
And it's taken some time. It really has. And I'm really bad. I was also very bad in the beginning about delegating. Like I just was like, I'll just do everything,
Hmm.
because I don't want to give anybody extra burden. I can do it.
Wearing
Um,
multiple hats, not delegating, right? we
yeah,
we
no.
feel like, okay, we can do that rather delegating.
Right. So delegation is a huge self-care right there. Like there's
Mm.
this process from we practice EOS, is elevate, delegate. And so
Mm.
I do that every 3 months, where I just sit down and I write down all the tasks that I'm doing for about a week at a time. And then I look at that and I'm like, what are the tasks that I shouldn't have my hands on? Like, what
Yeah.
are the tasks that I need to be giving away? And so every 3 to 6 months or so, I'm doing that process to kind of help take things off my plate so that I can be more focused on the building of the company. But the big thing is giving yourself permission and understanding that and the thing before I even say that,
Mm.
I know as a business owner that we carry the weight of
Yeah,
all of our employees. And it's
we do.
not just them, but it's their families. Like when I look at the group of people that work for me, it's not that I'm just looking at the 30 employees. I'm looking at those 30 families. Like I know their kids. I know
Yeah.
their kids' names. Like when we have our Zoom meetings and they walk into the room, I'm like, bring them on camera. Let's
Yeah.
talk to them. We'll
Yeah.
stop the whole meeting just to chat with the children because, they're a part of their lives. That's a part of our culture here is that we're family oriented. Like I want them to come first.
Love that.
And so like I carry that weight. Like if we don't succeed, then I'm going to be letting down these 30 families.
Yeah.
And so it's a hard burden to shoulder. And sometimes you feel like maybe the decision I'm making isn't the right one, or, you get very stressed out and, you're constantly on the go. Like if you don't stop and just take a day and
Yeah.
walk away from all of it to recharge yourself, then you're not going to make the right call. You're not going to make those right decisions. Like you have to understand that stopping and whatever that thing may be. I know for me, it's nature. Like
Same here.
I, I
Same here.
love being on the water. You put me on a boat and I am the happiest woman in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like I am, that is my cup of tea right there. So, just sitting by a body of water, going to the lake, going to the beach, just something to kind of just watch the water move is just calming and relaxing. And you've got
Yeah.
to find what that thing is for you
For you.
and do that consistently. And and turn yourself completely off to those distractions and not trying to figure out what's my next play or how am I going to fix this problem or, creating solutions. It's about, really taking a moment for yourself and
Yeah.
breathing.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. This is huge. And I think that's what I did recently, yesterday.
Yeah.
And I shared something like, you gotta reset yourself, reset, refocus, restart. Like you have to, otherwise it's yeah, you have to think about like your all the employees, all about your clients, your energy. You gotta stop and maybe just like one day. And like you said, like you love water, like being there, nature, like I love nature, like mountains or hike, just go there. And I think, and I'm not saying that you should go with like family, friends, I think, which is great, but I think
Yeah.
going by yourself, spending time
Mhm.
with yourself and with your soul, it's a game changer. And it always like works for me. It has worked, and it works. I come back with like good energy. And same, I think that you do. And I think every business owner should do that. So
Yeah,
that's
I'm not talking
powerful.
about family vacations because those can be more stressful than work
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
So like it's
Yeah.
not just about going away on that family vacation. We're talking taking a step away for you. Like what is the thing that you need? And I feel like, and I hope that I'm not going to be offending anyone, but I feel like men have the hardest time doing that sometimes. Like
It
you
is.
have a very difficult time giving yourself permission to say, I'm going to walk away. Go hunt.
You just gave me goosebumps. Like
Y-
that's, yeah, it's true. It's true. Like we carry a lot of like weight, burden,
Yeah.
a lot of responsibilities. And again, not comparing with women here. I think everyone, but I think men, they have like more weight
Yeah.
than anyone else. Yeah.
I mean, I know as women, we're moms and like it's hard to shut off the mom button and all that. Um, but I do know that we don't give enough credit to the man of the house who has to carry the burden of the providing and the protecting and a lot of these a good portion of these companies are ran by men. We have some amazing women in this industry and
Yes.
and I'm speaking to them as well
Yeah.
because in that moment they're just walking in a whole different department and they are way surpassing all of us together.
Yeah.
Like I look at people like Amanda with Grasshopper and I'm like, girl, I don't know how you do it.
Oh
I
yeah.
have mad respect for her. Um,
I admire her. She's amazing.
but it's about giving yourself permission and not feeling guilty, like not having guilt while you're doing it. Because then there's no point. Because like I struggle with that. Even last week, I went to
Yeah.
the beach last week to try and take, some time to work on the business, but I needed to take a little bit of moments here and there to take a breakaway. And I was walking on the beach, and while I'm walking on the beach, I have my phone in my hand and I'm checking my Slack messages from the team. And I
Yeah.
finally was like, Deidre, put your phone down and just enjoy the moment. Like, look at, there was no one on the beach, no one. And instead of just being present in that moment, I'm sitting here worried about work. And it's like, just unplug and enjoy life. Like, just see the reason why you're doing the thing you're doing.
Exactly. And I think this is what I think I felt yesterday, and I did not feel guilty about it, because my family and my team, they knew it, that okay, I'm going for this like me time break. I'm gonna shut down everything. And I was looking at like our Slack, and the way that my leadership, the team was taking care of it, they did not even send me a single message. So I think giving a space, like
Yeah.
it's very, very important. And if your loved ones, close ones, they know you, and if you need that space, and I think that's one of the best things in the world, that you have that empathy between your close ones, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's definitely, it's crucial for the growth of your company.
yep.
Because if you're not again taking care of yourself, how can you take care of your whole entire business? And I know, especially in this industry, there are so many owners who actually work in the field,
All the time.
and I think if we just take a second and you're like, hey, one day a month, it is okay for you to walk away. We're not an ER. Like, we're not doctors, and it will be okay. Like, no one's going to die if you walk away from your company for one day and breathe and then
Yeah.
come back fully recharged and ready to like kick ass. Like, it's going to be okay to do that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think most of the time, if you ask any men in the world, like, how's everything going? They're gonna say it's good, it's fantastic. Though it's not, 365 days cannot be the same. Like, you
Yeah.
go through with a lot of stuff. Everyone, like, go through with, like, a lot of stuff every single day. But yes, I think men, they are trained, they have been taught to be tough, stay tough, and everything is good. But that's not true. I think men, as men, like, or business owners, those who are listening, I think we should understand, and it's okay not to be okay, right? It's
Right.
fine. It's fine. And when someone asks you, right, how is your day going? I think the typical answer is like, okay, Deidre, how's your day going? What are you gonna
It's
say?
great. It's wonderful.
It's wonderful. Though, let's say you are having a bad day, but you still
Yeah.
like, but you still gonna say, oh, it's going great, but it's not. But can't we like be true to ourselves? Like, okay, it's okay. It's not a good day.
So me and Vanessa have this thing where we look at each other and we're like, it's fine. It's fine. We're fine. It's going to be fine. Everything's fine. But that's our code for, it's not been a good day. But I think you're right. I think honestly, if we were to be more like owner to owner, especially, because
Yes.
I get to be a part of a lot of different groups. And the point of those is to build with each other. So
Yeah.
like for an example, Home Service Freedom, it's a great platform for
Yeah.
business owners in the trades to be a part, to like be there with each other and learn and grow. But while you're there, take that opportunity to talk about things that you're actually struggling with, because you never know that the person that you're talking to may have also had that struggle last year and they have the right way to overcome it. And that's the person you be talking to. So when we walk around, we're like,
Exactly.
life is great.
Yeah.
You never know what insight you're going to get. So being a little bit vulnerable and putting it out there. And I'm not saying go out there and share all of your,
Yeah.
cobwebs in your closet, just, but being real with each other, I think, is the only way that you really grow. Like, when you sugarcoat everything constantly, you make yourself look like you're better than what you are.
Yeah.
You're never really going to actually get to the level that you are putting yourself on a platform of.
100%. And I think that's right. Like, when you are at these events, like, industry events, Home Service Freedom, Profit X, I think so many events out there. And
Yeah.
I've seen people, contractors, it's good to brag about numbers. Oh, everything is great. Like, we did, 3 million last year. Now we're gonna crush it. Like, we're gonna hit like 6 million. But
Yeah.
I think you can share challenges. And once you open up, and I think other person gets opened up as well, and they want to share, like, okay, this is what, like you said, right, this is what, challenges they faced, and these are the things, if you can apply in your business, yeah, definitely it will help. And I think questions, being vulnerable, and asking for help, I think it's not a weakness. I think it's
Yeah.
wisdom, right?
I think a lot of people, I mean, we all know the saying that you don't want to be you don't want to be the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
You also don't want to be the most successful person in the room.
You're
So like,
right.
if you're walking into that room and you're trying to portray yourself as the most successful in the room, then what are you gaining from that room? And if
Yeah.
you're not putting out there the things that you need to actually work on and grow in, then what's the point of being in the room?
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Yeah, I know it was a little deep at that, but thanks for sharing. And I think really wanted to ask you these questions because you have that, behavioral science background, and you have that, and it's really good. Like what you shared with us. Thank you for that, Deidre.
You're
Generally,
welcome.
we don't talk about, like, these things on podcasts. Good
Yeah, I
stuff.
mean, I think sometimes, talking about the mindset, talking about, where your head's at and how to like refocus that is important, especially in the growth of our companies.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm glad
Yeah.
that we had an opportunity to go there.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And nowadays, like, I'm seeing you are like crushing it, like, with a lot of like video content and journal content on social media. What inspired you to start creating, extensive video content on social media? What's going on?
So I've gone on a journey of like, what is prayer in my life? I think for so long, I would pray and it would just be like a list of requests. And I had a moment where I realized that for me, prayer was just being grateful for where I'm at and what I have. I've gone
Mm,
through a lot of things in my life. I had came up in a very poor family. We didn't
mm,
have a lot. I struggled growing up with having a learning disability and not feeling valuable in the world, and just really just struggled with a lot of things.
mm.
And for me, I had a really hard time putting myself out there, like
Yeah.
not thinking that I would like people would devalue what I had to say because
Mm,
of, you know, I wore glasses or, so
yeah.
I would just get in my head about it. And finally I was just like, you know what, put yourself out there and just show gratitude. If you just get out there and you show gratitude and that be your prayer life, it will change you. And it did. Like I did a 30-day challenge. I didn't get
Mm.
the last week because I ended up getting the flu. Like, oh my gosh. And no
Oh,
one wanted to see me in that moment because I didn't even want to see myself. Some of the days I don't even remember waking up
it
because
it
it was a rough one.
it happens.
But I did a 30-day challenge where it was just like every day get up and be grateful for something.
Yeah.
And that was my only prayer life was gratitude. I told myself I'm not going to go to God with like a list of requests or demands. I am just going to spend 30 days just being grateful.
Mm,
And it was going to help change me. And in the process, like it started to affect um my life. People were sending me messages about how it was helping them. It started to actually impact our business. So it was really just a personal self journey uh, to find some, courage for myself and to correct my prayer life and just,
yeah.
my mindset overall. But it ended up affecting so much more. And I'm glad I did it.
So proud of you. And I think we share a lot of like, things like we have like, a lot of similarity. And yeah, came same like, from middle class family from India, and a lot of like, challenges were there. But I think one thing that I always had in me, like staying positive in any situation, like even if it's like worse, negative, I always stay positive and being grateful. And I think this is amazing thing you said, being grateful. Like if you are grateful for anything, like in any day, right? Every day, just like one thing, I think being grateful, like, changes the whole world around you.
Yeah.
And good things come your way, and you feel energized, right? You give good energy out there, and that's how you did. Like you have like, good impact everywhere. And what a great share.
Yeah. I think I want to like, for me, I was like, I need to encourage everyone. Like if it's journaling, if it's writing,
Yeah.
or if you make your own videos, whatever it is. But like if you just do that 30-day gratitude challenge,
Yes.
and if you have a family, like if you're a husband or a wife or you have kids, do that with them. Like I shared my gratitude with my kids
Mm,
and asked them what they were grateful for. And I didn't record that and put that online. I'm a little bit, I pull back on that sometimes. Like I'll share videos or little clips here and there or pictures, but for the most part, I try to keep, because you never know what's out there. But doing that daily with your kids, that sets them up to understand that if they're grateful for the things that they have, then they're not constantly walking around with their hand out.
yeah.
Um, and I think that's something that it's just a good life lesson to do. You have to reset your mind, but you also need to reset your entire family. And I
Entire
think
family.
that a
Yeah.
30-day gratitude journey is super important to change the outlook of your year.
What a great share, in a form of like, text, video, audio, whatever it takes. 30-day challenge. being grateful. Love
Yeah.
that. Love that. All right. Last question I'm going to ask you. What advice do you have for refining marketing and recruiting processes in home services?
Join our team. Um, so having a really good outlined process. So like the best advice I can give any company, whether they use us or they do it independently in-house, you really have to have a playbook. You need this specifically outlined, what the process is from beginning to end and the reason why. So each component, each thing that you put in your outline, why do you have it there? And don't overcomplicate your process.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many ways to Sunday you can use the acronym, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Like kiss it, like
Yes.
I
Method.
think sometimes a lot of people will overcomplicate this whole process and then it becomes so overwhelming that a candidate doesn't want to go through it. And they will already have found another job by the time that they get through your process.
Right. And
So
yeah, go ahead.
so really understanding yourself, knowing who you are, knowing what your avatar looks like, but then having a clear, defined playbook.
Mm.
And knowing each step, because if you have it already laid out, then you're not going to wonder, okay, well, what do we need to do next? Or like, if you have that ready to go at any moment when, you need to
Yeah.
put a person in a seat and you're like, on your mark, get set, go, turn the switch on, make it happen. There's a pipeline already there created for them.
Right. No, I think that's great. And let's say if, these contractors like home service industry, they don't have it. So I hope you are helping them out with like, what's the best playbook looks like, right? Is that
Yeah.
something that you are
Oh,
helping?
100%. We give everybody a playbook. So we have a playbook for the whole entire hiring process. We go through and really meet with the client in the beginning to understand who they are, their company culture, their avatar. We build all their ads, we build all their ad copy, the campaigns. Then we build the funnel that each
Yeah.
candidate goes through. So like once the candidate hits the platform, we're nurturing them. The biggest takeaway is if you're not communicating with your candidate and setting clear expectations, they're out. Like they're going to go away. So we are communicating with a candidate for the first 45 seconds of showing interest.
45 seconds.
45 seconds.
Oh,
Boom,
wow.
done.
Oh,
So
wow.
if you don't have that kind of speed, there's your first problem. So you're wanting to make sure that a candidate feels heard and seen and that you're there and that you're handing them the tools to get on your team. And so we do that. We make sure that we have our funnels built out. We have account managers that watch every candidate that comes through that pipeline to compare it to that avatar. And our goal is the only thing that we want our clients to do is just look at the ones we say, hey, take a look at this guy. Do you want me to schedule an interview?
Awesome.
So we want to take out that whole process, but having that process built out for yourself is super huge. We also have playbooks for hiring events. We started those this year. I know that you've
Oh, wow.
seen, I've been traveling a lot on the weekends. Like this weekend, I'm going to Kansas City to do another one for a one garage door service.
Oh, nice.
But these hiring events, we have really honed in on a really good playbook for them of exactly how much ad spend to use, how to how to release the ad spend down to how to write out the ads, the ad copy, the graphics, the nurture sequence, what that day should look like, what the follow-up should be. And we're seeing like really good results with those. So for an example, I was just in Houston with Garage Door Doctor and we ran ads for 2 weeks. We had over 300 candidates that showed interest, had about 100 of them show up because you don't get the whole group, you get a percentage. And then out of that, we moved forward with 25 of them going to ride along stage.
Oh, wow.
I mean, with 1 or 2 hiring events, you could pretty much fill an entire market twice on some of these companies. So the right hiring event can really set you up, but understanding your UMR is super crucial. So your unrealized monthly revenue, like what is an empty truck costing you?
Mm.
That in itself will help you internally justify ad spend. Like, I know we get so much pushback on like ad spend. I'm like, do you know how much it's costing you not to have an employee?
Right.
So I promise you, you're going to make that back up the first week that they're in the market. Like that
Right.
first job, you're going to make that back. And then everything after that's profit. So I don't know why we are complaining about spending
Yeah.
a little money up front. So
Right. I think most of the company owners focus on they focus on MMR which is monthly MRR, a monthly recurring revenue. They're not looking at UMR, what you just said.
yeah.
And yeah, I think these were amazing share by you. And to the listeners, home service industry owners, I highly recommend reaching out to Deidre at Rapid Hire Pro. And Deidre, what's the best way to reach out to you if anyone is looking for any help when it comes to hiring best candidates? So how to reach you?
So we do a discovery call with everybody. Like
Okay.
we are not pushy. We're just going to show you exactly what we do and how we do it and a recommendation for you. We record that call and you get to take it away with you. And if you don't use us, then you at least have that plan. And the way to go about doing that is to go onto our website, rapidhirepro.com. And there's like 15 different little buttons that says book a call. And when you book a call with us, we're going to meet with you, spend about half an hour and tell you exactly what it is we do, how we do it, and kind of take a look at it, your company, and then go from there. And then you can make a decision for yourself. It's just a way for us to kind of see if we're a good fit for each other.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I hope to the listeners, I hope this episode was helpful. Go check out the website. We'll link everything in the description. Deidre is amazing, helping home service industry with the best practices, and she's just willing to help organically, not pushy. She mentioned. I highly recommend reaching out to Deidre. And again, it was a pleasure to have you on our show. It was fantastic, chatting with you, and we discussed a lot of
Yes,
stuff. And it was amazing to have you, Deidre.
I appreciate it.
Thank,
This was fun. I always love our chats.
thank you so much again. And to the listeners, we will definitely come up with new guest on the next one. Till then, have a great day, have a great weekend. Take care, guys. Thank you, Deidre, again.